Good day YouTube! With the Game Awards 2024 just around the corner, I've decided to ask Chat GPT to predict which game will be the winner for the Game of the Year award. Now the response for Chat GPT is very candid, and within the first few lines I got my answer, but they wrote an essay which I will just narrate to you anyway. So the Game Awards 2024 features a stellar lineup of nominees for Game of the Year, making predictions both exciting and challenging. Now leading the pack are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Elden Ring Shadow of the Odd Tree, and Black Myth Wukong, each representing distinct genres and captivating players in different ways. So you see in the first paragraph, they already cornered these three games as the frontrunners, which means the other three don't have a chance according to their opinion, right? So they cut straight to the chase. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stands as a frontrunner due to its ambitious storytelling and exceptional polish, building on the success of its predecessor. This installment expands the iconic world of Midgard and beyond, bringing stunning visuals, revamped gameplay, and a deeply emotional narrative that appeals to both new players and longtime fans. Its potential to win lies in its status as a cultural touchstone, an achievement bolstered by critical acclaim and high player engagement. So that is Chat GPT's prediction. Do you agree? They follow up with Elden Ring. The highly anticipated expansion to the award-winning Elden Ring offers another strong contender. From Software's ability to create atmospheric worlds with intricate lore and challenging gameplay continues to resonate with fans and critics alike. The expansion's innovative content and refinements could solidify its standing, especially among enthusiasts of immersive action RPGs. Its position as a major success in 2024 combined with a passionate fanbase makes it a serious competitor. Now last but not least, Black Myth Wukong, a newcomer to the Game of the Year stage, has captivated audience with its stunning visuals and gameplay inspired by Chinese mythology. As an ambitious action RPG, it blends innovative combat mechanics with a compelling narrative based on the classic tale Journey to the West. If it delivers on its promise, Black Myth Wukong could surprise many by clinching the top prize, particularly as a symbol of growing global interest in Eastern storytelling. I think what ChatGPT has picked up on from the chatter on the internet is that Black Myth Wukong actually has an outside chance as a black horse to surprise everybody. But general expectations from the industry as well as from the gaming community is that Final Fantasy VII will nick the prize. It carries on to mention about the other contenders. So honorable mentions include Astrobot for its creative approach to platforming and family-friendly charm, and Metaphor ReFantazio as a new JRPG from Studio Zero that has dazzled with its bold artistic style and narrative depth. Now I agree with this because generally I feel that Game of the Year winners have a kind of a buzz and a glow prior to their coronation. So like everybody's talking about Elden Ring in 2022, the memes are flooding my YouTube feed, and then everybody is talking about Baldur's Gate 3 in 2023. There's a lot of chatter and a lot of discussion and dialogue about just how great the game is and how it is bringing the gaming industry into areas which other AAA titles have neglected. And we don't find this with Astrobot or Metaphor ReFantazio. It has pretty positive glowing reviews from players who have played it, but it has not really reached the kind of mainstream, viral, trending kind of status that the traditional Game of the Year winners would have achieved. Ultimately, the competition will likely hinge on audience sentiment and the judges' preference for innovation versus refinement. If past trends hold, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth may have the edge, balancing nostalgia and new experiences. However, the critical acclaim surrounding From Software's expansion makes Elden Ring, Shadow of the Odd Tree, a formidable rival. Black Myth Wukong, meanwhile, represents the wildcard that could disrupt expectations with fresh perspectives and global appeal. The Game Awards 2024 will reflect the diversity of modern gaming, showcasing how different genres and visions can capture the hearts of players worldwide. The winner will depend on how well these titles resonate with both judges and fans during a year marked by extraordinary creativity in gaming. And the sources are from the Game Post, PlayStation Universe, Games Radar Plus. I think ChatGPT is very politically correct. It is trying to be as objective as possible, even though it totally left out Belletro, the card game. But let's be serious, Belletro will never win Game of the Year. It's just the way that it is, okay? Can you imagine a card game winning the grand prize? Now, I have some comments about Elden Ring Shadow of the Octree. I think a DLC will not win Game of the Year. I think it is a farce. It's been included probably for political reasons. I don't know, but I think it will be strange if Shadow of the Octree wins Game of the Year and when it's the main mothership Elden Ring itself won the Game of the Year 2 years ago. It'll just be very strange considering the kind of competition that they face. So that leaves us with Black Myth Wukong and Final Fantasy VII. So I want to push Chat GPT a little bit further, and so I asked them an additional question. This is what I input. I asked Chat GPT to discuss now which one will win TGA GOTY between these two games, and to consider factors like Metacritic score, Steam chart performances, critics review, overall game sales, fans review, and the history of the game studio developers, to do a comparison between Square Enix and Game Science. And I asked them to write a compelling critical analysis as to why TGA will award one over the other. Now, the battle for the Game of the Year between Black Myth Wukong and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth brings together two vastly different contenders with unique strengths and challenges. So the first category that Chat GPT pit them against each other will be critical reception and Metacritic scores. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth boasts a high critical acclaim with Metacritic and open critic scores hovering in the mid to high 90s. The game is lauded for its deep narrative, innovative expansion of the Final Fantasy story and franchise, and its polished gameplay mechanics. Critics also highlighted that Square Enix's ability to balance nostalgia with modern RPG expectations, enhancing its appeal to both new and old fans. It is not so kind, on the other hand, to Black Myth Wukong, which received a more polarized review, averaging in the low 80s, while its visuals and combat system rooted in Chinese mythology were universally praised. Issues like repetitive level design, technical problems including frame rate stutters, limited its critical success. However, its creative storytelling and boss design resonated strongly with players. I do not agree 100% with this particular statement. I think the ChatGPT lifted it off straight from gaming journalists whom I feel haven't really played the entire Black Myth Wukong, and that is why they say that the level design is repetitive. It simply isn't. If you were to play past chapter 2 and 3, you will realize that there's a lot of creativity and difference when it comes to the level design and the progress that you have to make. The world is a lot more open, and people who say that it's repetitive are just players and journalists who stopped at level 1, at chapter 1. It's just the way that it is, and it's very obvious. Okay, the second category which ChatGPT compares these two games, commercial success. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is part of a globally recognized franchise with a legacy of over 170 million copies sold across the series. It had a blockbuster launch and leveraged a massive fanbase. Black Myth Wukong, developed by Game Science, achieved remarkable success as a new IP selling over 20 million copies. It broke records for concurrent single-player game users on Steam, showcasing a strong global interest in Chinese mythology and independent studio innovation. Now, what ChatGPT has neglected to mention here is that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sold just 2 million copies, which is less than the first Final Fantasy VII remake. So in terms of commercial success, I don't think it's a fight at all. It's men against boys. 2 million against 20 million. Black Myth Wukong breaks the record and wins this round completely. Okay, the third category will be fan and industry impact. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has benefited from Square Enix's reputation as a leader in RPG development. Fans and critics have celebrated its narrative depth, gameplay enhancements, and faithfulness to its iconic predecessor. Its enduring impact on the RPG genre makes it a strong contender for TGA GOTY. Now, conversely, Black Myth Wukong has become a cultural phenomenon, breaking ground for Chinese game developers on the global stage. While Game Science is relatively new compared to Square Enix, their ambitious use of Unreal Engine 5 and unique focus on Chinese folklore have positioned them as innovators. I don't know about you, after reading this paragraph, I learned nothing from ChatGPT's output. Okay, it's basically just stating the obvious, it's not making a critical judgment. Which also, if I were to make a decision or to give a comment on this, I would say that both games have equally strong significant impact on the fan base and industry, and therefore I consider it a tie. That's the TLDR, it's as simple as that. Now, why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will likely win? This is the conclusion from Chat GPT. TGA historically favors games with combination of critical acclaim, strong fan reception, and industry impact. I agree with this, by the way. While Black Myth Wukong excels in visual innovation and commercial success for a debut IP, its lower review scores and technical issues may hinder its chances. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth not only meets but exceeds these criteria with its exceptional storytelling, gameplay, and legacy. I think there is a discussion and a debate here. I do not totally agree with ChatGPT. As I mentioned earlier, Black Myth Wukong does not have significant technical issues, and you may even consider that its gameplay combat mechanics can be possibly superior to that of Final Fantasy VII. Ultimately, TGA may lean towards FF7 Rebirth due to its consistent excellence across all evaluation metrics. This is true, I agree with this, while acknowledging that Black Myth Wukong has a groundbreaking achievement for an emerging market. My personal opinion and my take after this, I think that the ChatGPT is just reflecting the sentiments among the gaming industry experts who are likely going to be forming the judging panel. So I would give FF7 about 70% chance to win, and Black Myth Wukong about 30%. And if Black Myth Wukong were to make it as a wildcard, I think part of the reason would be perhaps political. That the founder for TGA, Jeff Kinkley, would actually want to have a bigger say and a bigger presence for TGA in the Chinese market. It's just business at the end of the day. So do not be surprised if Black Myth Wukong might actually emerge a surprise winner, and we all know that it's business, political relationships that will be guiding these kind of awards and the direction where TGA will be going. But overall, FF7 has a stronger case and a stronger shot. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. I see you in the next video, and goodbye.